Oh my God. Uh-oh. Another day. Hello to everybody. Hello, people. Hello, truth seekers. Hello, my fellow empaths. My soul sisters, my soul brothers, my family, my community. Here we are today again. Cold, fresh, invigorating, but thank you for showing up. We are talking about today, where are you sacrificing your joy, your bliss, your balance for other people, for your children, or for more bling? Booyah! I was like, this is the topic today. So, where are you? What's going on in your life? Anybody on the call here? I want to know, for anyone that's coming in, where are you sacrificing yourself? Where are you sacrificing your needs in your life? Where are you sacrificing, your joy and putting yourself second in your life? It was really interesting today. So I realized lately, even in the last month, I've been going through a lot. I've had a new relationship. I've had my child issues, parenting issues. I've had, lots of events, lots of things going on. And I just realized even today that I was putting money first over my joy. Last week I had a bit of a breakdown from just too much overwhelm, too much stress yet again, and just really feeling like I can't do anymore. Like I'm trying so much. I'm super exhausted. And sometimes we get to these places where we're like, fuck, I just need a break. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm pooched. But in those moments, we don't recognize that we always have the power to choose. We always have the power to choose to do less, to choose to say no, to choose to embrace our selfish selves, our self, to focus on the self. That's what selfish is. So it was really interesting because even since December or January, I have been getting less workouts in. Usually I get 3 workouts in a week, but lately it has been maybe 1, maybe 2, and my joy has been diminishing. Anybody feeling that? Anybody feel just overwhelmed with life, overwhelmed with responsibility, overwhelmed with child rearing, engagements, maybe relationship issues? I mean, any of it. Sometimes we can get to this state of overwhelm, or it can even be like chasing dollars, chasing, relationships, chasing money, and we can do so at the sacrifice of ourselves, where we're no longer experiencing joy and lightness and play. And we start thinking, what the fuck is this all for? Really? Oh, Megan, I love you so much. Yeah, we start to be like, what the fuck am I chasing for? What the fuck why do I have these goals? If these goals are supposed to make me happy, if these goals are supposed to make me happy, but in the moment they are causing me to suffer, then why am I chasing them with such, conviction, with such relentlessness, and with such self-sacrifice every single day? And I've realized along my journey that the less goals I have, the happier I've become. I love you, Megan. It's so great to see you. And it's a very different, I live life very differently right now. You know, I don't have goals when I make my one goal that I have in the mornings that I have, my whole life has changed, is all about how can I have more balance today? What do I need to be happy? What does my heart need today? So every single day I wake up, that is my number one goal. You know, how can I have more joy? How can I have more balance? How can I get myself into a good state? Because, as I've said many times before, whatever you want to bring in or manifest into your life, you have to be that. You have to be that state, that emotional state that you are, that whatever that goal is supposed to bring you, you have to be that state that you think it's going to give you in order to attract it. Okay, so, and that's what Neville Goddard always says, assume the state of the wish fulfilled. So sometimes we need to transform our goals into self-care goals, selfish goals. So for me, I used to work a ridiculous amount. When I was younger, I would work maybe 70-hour weeks, and I was always chasing money, and all my self-worth was tied up in the bling, was tied up in success, was tied up in, you know, what I achieved in life, because my parents were very driven, perfectionists, high achievers, competitive, very competitive, even when it came to like sports and like competition and all of the above. So I basically, you know, I thought that if I achieved all those things, I would eventually be happy, that I would eventually get a lot of approval, and I would find that joy that I was looking for. But the harder I chased it, the more I strived, the more miserable I became. And there was times when, you know, I had 3 jobs, I worked 70 hours a week, and I used to say yes to every single person I knew. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to hang out. I thought, you know, I even thought I was an extrovert at the time, and I realized I was quite the opposite, which was, yeah, a big time introvert. Even though, like, I'm good with people, I'm social and all of the above, I really need to rejuvenate alone and have lots of alone time. I am not a person that is scared of being alone. I tend to love being alone. So, and I used to have huge drinking relapses when I worked that much, and then I would shame myself. I thought, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you, Susie? Why can't you, yeah, why are you fucking up? I didn't realize that working that much, that level of extroversion, that level of perfectionism and productivity was out of balance. And so, you know, the drinking, in a way, was the only time that I gave myself a break from chasing. And then I would shame myself for it. But truly, drinking was giving me freedom from the prison of my mind, because it was giving me permission to be lazy, permission to be unproductive, permission to just have fun and play. And it's really what my soul was starving for. My soul was just starving for fun and lazy and rejuvenation and relaxation and all of the above. So first of all, just want to say, anybody that's on this call, where are you starving for rejuvenation? Where are you starving for play in your life and starving for easy? Okay? Because there's a lot of things that beliefs that have to shift in order for us to get to the place where we're embracing our selfish self. So, and for anybody that's struggling with, I'll just say this now, I'm starting to say this earlier in the calls. If anybody's needing to jump on a call with me and get to the bottom of some of this stuff, a free complimentary call, if you're wanting to work with me, then let's figure this out. Let's dive deep and see where the roots of this comes from. And a lot of times why people can't be successful in life is like, no matter how hard they try, it never works out, is because the universe is, what you're doing is you're hustling to make things happen. And the universe understands that that hustle is not going to bring you happiness. So it's kiboshing your results so that it can bring up all those feelings of failure, all those feelings of fear, all those feelings of not being enough, so they can actually be loved regardless. Loved regardless of achievement, loved regardless of success, loved regardless of, perfectionism and all of it. And so, and even those feelings of insecurity, when you didn't feel safe as a kid, when you felt like there was something bad happening or something, your parents were fighting or, there was abuse or all of these things, those feelings, security is not an external thing. Security, people look for security outside themselves in money. They constantly look for security in money. Security doesn't come from money. You can actually have a ton of money and still feel insecure, still feel scared, still feel fearful of losing it all, still feel like a miser where you're holding it and you don't want to give it to anybody. So security comes from healing those moments in your life where you didn't feel safe, where you didn't feel secure. And in order to attract money in, you got to feel secure with or without money. With or without money. And these are some of the things that I had to shift. I had to shift when I started to manifest, started to put myself first. And I have to go in a minute because I just realized we're going to have a part 2 of this video. We're going to do a part 2 because I have to put myself first and pick up my son. So I had to, in order, like now in my business, I have got to a place where I now work 4-hour work days. I've managed to make 3 times as much in my business, 160 grand a year. 60,000 of that is exchange. That's where I exchange, where I totally am supported. That's how I freed up my time to work less and make more. So I exchanged my services for a cook, for a cleaner, for someone to do my errands, someone to do my gardening, someone to do my laundry, everything that was robbing me of robbing my time, stealing time from my life. And so I could really embrace my selfish self, be supported. And in order to do so, I really had to give up. I had to start, I'll go through a couple things and then I gotta go. I had to give up the fear of being a burden. I had to give up the fear of receiving and feeling unworthy of receiving. I had to get really good at asking for help. I had to embrace my crybaby self on the daily. I had to step into trust and faith with the universe. where if I worked less, that the universe would still support me, would still bring me clients. And here's what I found. The more I hustled, the less the clients came. And the more I stepped into play and stepped into receiving and stepped into fucking juicy fun, the more the clients would show up. So I have to go, but for anybody that is wanting to live a life of more ease, I am going to create a part 2 for this video because I realized I just didn't have enough time. And anybody that needs a breakthrough call or wants to work with me in my program, you know, come on a free breakthrough call with me. We'll get to the root of why your life is a struggle and where you're not putting yourself first. I love you guys. I hope you're amazing. And I will talk to you really, really soon. Big love. Have a good day.